Namaskar. Today we'll start third module of our subject press tool design. So this is about selection of materials. Selection of materials and selection of hardwares. In this session we will discuss selection of materials. So selection of material and material acquisition is very important. So the ready availability of a wide variety of starting materials will greatly facilitate the realization of variety of products that can be manufactured. Knowledge of the range of readily available options will clearly be beneficial for the purpose of both designing and manufacturing these products and will help lead to optimal outcomes. Project activities in which the material acquisition and selections are useful are amendment and detailed design and in production planning. So in these activities the material acquisition and selections are very useful and other tools are useful in conjunction with material acquisition and selection is requirement of management here. So material selection is very important. So designer of part typically specify the material composition and conditions, while the manufacturer generally specifies the specific form of starting material as well as its size. So this tool is intended to provide a framework to help to organize the large amount of information required to form a sound basis for selection and specification of appropriate starting materials for mechanical design and manufacturing project. So material selection and acquisition is very important. So from point of designer view and manufacturer views as managerial view, the material selection is very important thing. So what are different applications of material acquisitions? One is stock types. So materials can be categorized in variety of ways. Most materials can be classified as follows. One is bar, pipe, tube, structural sections. So this is first category. Second category is plate, sheets. Third category is hardware. For example, screws, nut, bolts, washers, electrical plumbing fittings, etc. Then toolings, then hand tools, cutters, drills, saw blades, etc. Then consumables, for example, cleaning material, cutting fluid, lubricants, and first aid supplies. So these are materials, stock materials or stock type materials. Then these stock materials are specified. The specification of material. The first two categories. First two category means bar pipe, tube, structural sections, and plate sheets. So first two category of stock types listed above. It will generally be necessary to specify four descriptors when particular piece of material is required. The specification should contain the following information. One is composition. What the piece of stock is made of. We'll see in detail about this composition later. Then shape. The shape of the piece, often designating the cross sections. Okay, what type of cross section it is. Then size. The significant dimension of piece. And conditions means the metallurgical condition or some other descriptions, means hot rolled, cold rolled, in this way. Okay, the size means specification. The 525 means 25 bar, that is size. Then shape means the circular bar, square bar, in this way. And the composition of material, the MS, which type of material is there, it is used. So these are some specifications applied for first two category, that bar, pipe, tube, structure sections and plates and sheets. Then we'll see in detail what is composition. So there are number of metal types, both ferrous and non-ferrous, which are available. There are also number of plastics, both thermoplastic and thermosetting plastics, which are available. Then alternate terms or some specific designations or trade names are included. Okay, we'll see. So composition means mild steel, that is low carbon steel, or AISI 1015. Then medium carbon steels, then high carbon steels, tool steel, stainless steel, brass, phenolic, there is fiber reinforced, then acrylic, then flexiglass or lucite, then molybdenum filled nylon, this is nylotron. So all these are compositions, different compositions, aluminum, copper, acetal, nylon, polycarbonate, Teflon. So these are some compositions. So we must consider all this composition while selecting material. So we should know what are the strength and properties of this different material with this composition. Then we can easily select. Then second parameter is shape. So it should be noted that not all shapes are available in all material type. So some shapes which some of the given material are available. So for example, the round bar. So round is a shape, circular is a shape. So mild steel, alloy steel, stainless steel, brass, copper, aluminum alloy, phenol, acetal, then PTFE. So these are available in round bar. For example, square bar, the mild steel, brass and aluminum alloys are available in square bars, square shape. Then hexagonal bars, mild steel and brass. Rectangular bar, mild steel, brass, aluminum and copper. Then flat bar, then mild steel, brass, aluminum and copper. So these are different shapes. There are the following are some available, but typically in limited range of materials, that is round tube, square tube, rectangular tube and pipe. So difference between round tube and pipe is reflected in dimensioning thereof. Tubing is specified using outside dimensions plus the wall thickness. See, tube is a hollow tube. So inner diameter and outer diameter is not specified. It is specified with outer diameter and its thickness. So pipe is specified using nominal inside dimensions. So tube is specified with outside diameter. Pipe is specified with inside diameter. Okay, the pipe, the flow through the pipe. So flow through pipe, the volume of volume of that particular fluid is calculated with the help of internal diameter of that pipe. So while specifying pipe, internal diameter is used. Nominal internal dimensions and numbers are used there. So the table sample of pipe dimension is included. We'll see later on. We'll see that table first and then we'll continue. I will show you. So this is this table. Table A. The pipe size chart, some sample values in inches. The size of all pipe is identified by nominal pipe size. So the manufacture of pipe in nominal size is 1/8 inch to 12 inches inclusive is based on standardized outside diameter. So this OD was originally selected so that pipe was standard OD and having wall thickness typically of period would have an inside diameter ID. So this is the information about pipe size chart. Then structural sections. So you might see in different structural sections. So beams are used. I beams are there. So wide flange beams are there. Equal angle beams, unequal angle, channels, rectangular, hollow. Then plates, sheets. Already you know what is plate and what is sheet. The sheet metal which is thicker, less than 6 mm is called sheet metal, and the plate or sheet metal which is more thickness is more than 6 mm is called plate. So the distinction between plate and sheet may be arbitrarily established on the basis of thickness. So plate will have thickness greater than typically 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Okay, already we discussed the sheet thickness will be less than the chosen figure. So thinner sheet metal will often be specified using gauges. A table of sheet metal dimensions of varying variety of gauges and applicability is included in attachment. So this is a gauge chart. Some sample values in inches. You can see here gauge 3, 4, 8, 10. So 3 means what? The brass and aluminum sheet, brown and sharp. Okay, so this is 0.2294 inch. So it some values are in inches. Okay, then cold hot rolled steels. So 3 gauge means for steel this much 0.2391. For aluminum, brass, copper, steel tube, so this is a value. For stainless steel sheet, this is a value, and for galvanized sheet, these are the values. So these are gauges. For 1 gauge for non-ferrous metals, and for ferrous metals, for stainless steel and galvanized steels, it is different. So you can use this chart while particular considering the thickness of sheet. Okay, so this is about gauge chart of sheet metal. Next specification is size. So we discussed composition and shape. Now size. So what is size? So the material outlined above are typically specified using empirical measures, which are typically expressed as either fractional or decimal inches. The section size increments vary. Increments are small for smallest size and increases as the size increases. Okay, so the standard length of bar, tubes, pipes are typically of order of 20 feet, and the diameter it varies. Just 3/8, 7/6. So तुम्ही ऐकलं असेल 7/12चा पाना दे रे, 7/16चा पाना दे रे, 3/8चा पाना दे रे, स्पॅनर दे रे. ते बोल्ट किंवा त्याचा जो डायमीटर आहे, त्याचा हेड आहे, त्याचा साईज असतो. सो इट इज in inch. 3/8, 7/8. So it is in inch. The standard width for most of the available sheet and plate material is 4 feet, and standard sheet and plate lengths are ranging from 8 to 12 feet. आपण एखाद्या हार्डवेअरच्या मटेरियलमध्ये गेलं, तुम्हाला शीट पाहिजे असेल, एखादा प्लायवूडचा हे हवा असेल, तर 4/6, 4/8 और 4/12 फीट अशा लांबीचे तुम्हाला शीट्स मिळतात. एखादी पाईप, ट्यूब, बार फॅब्रिकेशनसाठी तुम्हाला आणायचं जायचं असेल तर इट इज अबाउट 20 feet. These are the standard sizes in which you can purchase the material. Then next is a condition. The condition of a given material as a stock can potentially include a number of factors, many of which arise as consequences of the way in which the material has been processed. Some examples are presented here along with some ramifications, that is cold versus hot finished. Already we discussed in PP1 hot rolling, cold rolling, hot forging, cold forging, or hot forming, cold forming. So cold versus hot, the finished, the several ferrous materials are available in, for example, either hot rolled or cold rolled conditions. So factors which may differ. What are different factors? Same material, if you cold rolled and hot rolled, the size tolerance is different. Smaller for cold rolled versions, Then surface finish, the cold rolled are smoother than hot rolled. Then yield strength is higher for cold rolled version. Then ductility is lower in cold rolled version. Then residual stresses higher in cold rolled version. The subsequent heat treatment will be further alter properties. So once you selected material, again if you want to alter properties, you can go for heat treatment. For example, normalizing, hardening. Already you studied different types of heat treatment. So according to application or use of different heat treatment, the properties are altered, and accordingly you can select the materials and the processes and the conditions. Okay, so all these considerations, all these factors should consider while selecting material. For wrought aluminum alloy, thermomechanical processing is indicated by a tempered designations. For example, 6061 T6, the tempered designation, this T6 indicates that the alloy was solution treated and artificially aged after forming. By way of contrast, 6061O has been annealed or recrystallized and consequently has the lowest strength and the highest ductility in these conditions. So these are some specifications. So the some other wrought materials such as brass or stainless steel sheet have been hardened through deformation alone. So this is indicated by H1 designation. The degree of strain hardening is indicated using second digit. So can range from quarter hard to full hard, that is H12 to H18 conditions. So many other temper designations exist and can be found in a variety of handbooks. In a data handbook, machine design data handbook, you can find these symbols H1, H2. Okay, depends upon the hardening. So using finishing process of various types can also physically alter the condition of the material. For example, centerless grinding can be used to produce round bar having a very smooth finish and very small size tolerances. As an example, a couple of sample specifications then might be elaborate as follows, that is 6 feet of 2 inch into 1 inch 16 gauge 6061 T6511 rectangular tubing. For example, 2 feet into 4 feet into 1 inch HRMS plate. So this is above specification is for tubing and below specification is for plate. So 2 feet width, 2 feet length and 1 inch thickness plate. Hot rolled mild steel plate. Okay, so these are some specifications. Once you see this particular specifications, then next is important factor you have to consider while selecting material is cost. So first is composition, shape, size and conditions depending upon your requirement. Once you see this, then you can go for cost. So cost is very important factor. So cost patterns, the cost of given piece of material acquired will typically depend upon the cost per unit dimensions or volumes or mass of materials. It depends upon cost per unit dimensions or cost per unit volume or cost per unit mass of the material. Then the amount of material required, the cost increases. If more material required, more cost is required. Then scrap created. Okay, so amount of scrap created means that much material is required. Then cutting cost. So your bars are available in 20 feet, sheets are available 4 by 8 feet. Okay, then cutting cost. So if the material is not available in house, must be brought in from outside. And additional considerations such as shipping cost, minimum order cost, minimum billing, etc. Then stock, inventory cost. So these may come into play. This is a cost pattern. So you have to select material as well as you have to consider all these factors, cost patterns, while selecting these, and this cost will add in your product cost or production cost. So each of these factory may in turn depend upon number of factors. So we'll see some examples. The cost per unit amount of material will depend upon the form, size and condition of the material as well as the age of the materials. What the price was when originally stocked. Consequently, the use of some rupees per kg figure may give only a very approximate guide to the cost of given material. So cost figure for each material type, form, size, conditions are generally available in a form similar to that. Okay, we'll shown in attachment C. We'll see the attachment C and then we'll continue. You can see, so examples of available material stock and price. So these are some data from one shop. So here hot rolled round bar 3 by 16 inch, cost is 0.12 per feet. It is, the prices are in dollar. Okay, then hot rolled round bar 1 by 4 inch, depends upon the size. The cost is given, depending upon the size, cost is given. Then hot rolled steel round bar 5 by 16, cost is $0.25 per feet. So these are costs in 1990s time. This book is of that time. So at that time these are the costs. Right now the costs are increased. Then hot rolled steel plate bar, flat bar, it is 3 by 16 into 1 by 2 inch, 3 by 16 inch into 1 by 2 inch and 0.15 per feet. So in this way the from that store, these are some costs are, you have to consider this cost for that particular size. Then particular with the size, the required size you can calculate. Then HRS square bars, then hot rolled flat bars. So these are different costs depending upon different sizes. So this type of costs and the quotation is available at your store, the supplier. So you have to consider these prices and costs per feet, or per meter or per kg, or if any other material is there, so that is depending upon the volume, liter. Okay, amount of material required for the finished part may be considerably less than the amount that needs to be purchased. So this can arise from the shape of finished parts, the amount of extra material needed for work holding and so on. So another factor is the potential need to purchase the complete length of material as opposed to part of a length. So if you require only 2 feet bar or 7 feet bar, so you so in a shop it is available in 20 feet. So if you are purchasing it only 2 feet or 7 feet, so it will be costlier. So he consider the cutting cost as well as, so remaining 13 feet is with him. So that's why he will not give at the same price per feet cost. He will give you consider more prices. So this can arise from the shape of finished part. Okay, so that's why you better to purchase the full length if it is required, if you have that much of order in future. So another factor is the potential need to purchase a complete length of material as opposed to a part of a length. So this will typically arise when material must be brought in from outside. Okay, so in this way you can save your number of orders or number of purchases. Okay. Material purchased but which does not end up as part of the finished products will likely constitute scrap. So this may be as little as the amount of material lost during the initial cutting operation. For example, the curve created by a saw or cutting torch, or as much as 90% or more. So scrap will incur handling costs but may also have some recoverable values. So in some instances, scrap may represent an elevated safety hazard and incur additional disposable costs. In case of chemical industries, the whatever the scrap is produced, or in case of some industries, for example blast furnace or cupola furnace, the scrap removed, okay, it may elevate some hazards. So additional disposable cost is required in some cases. So cost of cutting the material will clearly depend upon the amount of material removed by the cutting operation, as well as the cost of operating the cutting equipments. So actual cutting cost can be estimated by dividing the amount of material to be removed by the material removal rate and multiplying the cost or time of operating equipment, also the operators, the salary of operator. So one operator for which you are paying 20,000 rupees or 25,000 rupees per month, okay, so per week he is working 48 hours, then per day is working, consider 8 hours. So in 8 hours how many part he can cut? So depending upon his salary, okay. So adding complexity of the cutting of operation by requiring complicated cutting path, for example, can easily be added to the cost of the operation. So purchase of non-standard quantity of material from external supplier will typically incur cutting charges. So while it may be possible to produce a very approximate estimation, the price of a given piece of material based upon a measure such as rupees per ton, a more accurate estimate will require that many factors be considered. So this is very important to consider. If you estimate properly, then cost on cutting, cost of material purchasing, then cost on different specific size, you can decide and you can save your material. You can use optimum amount, optimum method, okay, and you can select a proper material with a less cost. So cost is very important factor. So in next session we will see the logistic part. Now what we discussed in this session, we discussed material acquisition, the importance of material acquisition, then different stock types. There are different types of stock material, that is bar, pipe, tube, structural sections, plates, hardware, toolings and consumables. Then we discussed the specification of stocks, composition, shape, size and conditions. In detail we discussed all these, and next we discussed the cost pattern. Okay, these are some important parameters which are has much effect on selection of material. We should consider all these parameters before purchasing or selecting any material. Okay, in next lecture we'll see, in next session we'll see some other important factors which you should consider while selecting any material or hardware. Okay, thank you very much.